What is up, Nintendo Land? As you most likely know by now, sad news echoes through Nintendo Land this week. But before we get to that, we're going to get to some potentially good news. Through a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal, Nintendo has finally come through and promised an increase in Switch production. So, do you guys think it'll be a Merry Switchmas this year? Are they going to follow through?
I would say your statement is a contradiction in terms, because they all they're doing is promising, and they promised us more NES classics. They promised us a lot of things.
Yeah, I would hope that they're smart enough that they know that they need this. They need to have a lot of Switches available. Like I said, I think I mentioned maybe last week or some other week we talked about production, that it's really going to be do or die for them at the holidays. Although it scares me because Nintendo, it seems like they enjoy having shortages just to have the it thing that you can't get. Like they'd almost rather be in the headlines for
negative news.
Yeah,
it's like that bad kid that positive or negative attention is the same thing. Any attention's good attention.
Yeah, but they did say they're having easier times like procuring the chips and the stuff that they need. They did talk about Joy-Con being like one of the hard things, that it took them a while to get all the parts for those.
And to get them right, apparently.
Yeah.
But no, I think that the Super Nintendo Classic fiasco, debacle, disaster was intentional, just so that they could set the bar even lower, so that if they actually come through with decent stock for Christmas, people will give them a pass. Like if you can sort of find them, people will be like, "Wow, they did great."
I think they should just put like when the Star Wars toys launched in the 77 or 78, whenever it was, and they just sold the empty box. They should just put a voucher in with all the Switches for a Super NES Classic in March or something.
Yeah.
Buy a Switch now and get $20 off of a Super NES Classic.
If the Switch were, if they were in the same kind of situation as they were with the Wii U when they were giving us Mario Kart 8 for free,
yeah, they weren't giving it. Well, I guess they bundled it in at one point, but
no, there you could. You mean there was the deal where you
free game promo?
Yeah, the free game deal.
Yeah, I forget what all that was. Game and Wario, Pikmin 3.
Yeah, there were a handful that you could pick from, but it was. But point being,
games, though.
They were all top-notch games. It was just like, hey, nobody has a Wii U, so nobody's playing these, so we might as well give them away for free. That was at least old Nintendo. Now, hey, we'll rebox them and sell them for the new system and charge full price.
But also, how many times did you hear with like Wii U and with 3DS at the beginning too? Like, here comes a Christmas season without a killer Mario game, and I think this year they're banking on having that.
Yeah, I mean that was what brought. I think that they constantly point back to the 3DS situation when it first launched. Nobody was buying it. The price drop helped considerably, but I think the biggest thing that really got them over the hump was, Super Mario 3D Land and Mario Kart 7 back to back before the Christmas holiday, and all of a sudden the 3DS went from basically a Wii U to, right behind the DS.
Yeah, I remember that holiday when Super Mario 3D World came out for Wii U. Like, I was like, this has got to be it. This is do or die time. Like, they're launching a Mario game right before the holiday. It's a great game, and it still didn't do it. But there's a lot of nostalgia for 64. I liked that. I thought it was a great game. I saw somebody.
Did you play 3D Land? Did you say play 3D Land first?
I did. Yeah.
See, to me, I don't know. To me, it was not enough of an upgrade over 3D Land. It just felt like 3D Land 2, which no complaints. It was still a good game. I don't know. It to me though, it wasn't quite Sunshine or Galaxy or it just wasn't.
I like the cat suit in actuality. I'm not going to buy like a cat suit hoodie, like I would with a Tanuki suit. But I liked the gameplay aspect of
The mechanic.
climbing walls and stuff. Yeah.
No, I totally did. And the 4-player stuff was great when you could get on those rare occasions when you could get some people to play with you that were of a reasonable skill level. That was the other problem with all those games. Is it's like, hey, I want to play through Mario and I want to have somebody come along with me. And it's, it's somebody who can't necessarily complete a Mario level on their own. And all it does really is just make my game frustrating.
Could you imagine if back in the days of Contra, every time you scrolled your second player off the screen, it just made them warp to you like it does in the Mario game?
Yeah. 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 They were harsh.
Hurry up.
Man.
Yeah. You just be like, get
You'd
good.
you'd either die or you'd get pinned somewhere and consequently die. Yeah.
We'll see. There seems to be
the people you're playing Contra with were good usually, whereas now you kind of get anybody walking in.
It had to be.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was you and your friends that all you did was sit and play Nintendo all afternoon after school. And if one of you had Contra, you and all your friends got good at it because it was the game that you all played.
And if they sucked, you just put in a different game because you couldn't stand playing it with somebody who sucked.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping they'll have a good holiday. I think they will. There seems to be a lot of optimism. Like, I seem to be less optimistic than the general public for Switch. Like, I think it's a decent enough system. It's got good enough games, but it's like I just want more. And but there's a lot of nostalgia for 64, like Mario, and I never really played 64 Mario very much, even though I was of age to. But a lot of people love that. A lot of people love Sunshine, so this is kind of in that wheelhouse.
I'm all for it. I'm excited about it. It's going to be, the hopefully not the last big game I buy, but it'll probably be the last big game I buy for the Switch for a while. Just because I'll have other stuff going on. Yeah, and there isn't much that's announced really. Yeah. There's Metroid Prime 4, which is vapor, and we know we've seen less of Metroid Prime 4 than we saw of Zelda like 5 years ago. Right?
JPEG confirmed. Yeah, it's about all they had. I mean, it's just a
logo. Yeah.
We've got a logo. So I guess that's probably when we're going to find out how rushed this system is by how long they're hoping to be able to rest on Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Mario Odyssey, and I guess Mario Kart 8.
I think they know they can coast through the holidays with Zelda and Mario, right? Anybody picking up the Switch at this point is still probably picking up, well, at least a fair portion of people picking up the Switch at this point are still probably picking up a copy of Zelda, I would think.
Yeah.
And like I had new people that pop up on my friends list, they're usually playing it. So I think they're figuring they can coast a good year. I don't know how long they think they're going to do this monthly release schedule, or you know what I mean. They're trying to really stagger out the releases so that they constantly have something coming up. But it seems like that kind of dies off after Mario. Maybe they're just hoping third parties are going to take over.
Year one, they've basically got 4 or 5 games. Like, really? And since we're not going to count the eShop.
Yeah, all the little eShop crappy titles, or even smaller indie titles, but they're not. Yeah, they don't count as a full game because if it's just an indie box, there's no point. But what do we got that's big now? We got Zelda, we got ARMS, we got Splatoon.
Skyrim's got potential to be big just because Nintendo fans haven't had it yet.
Yeah,
it is an old game.
And a fair amount of Nintendo fans are dual console or have some other means to have played it before.
I think if you really wanted to play it, you've already played it. I don't think I think it's going to be a very small minority of people who say, I've always wanted to play that game, but it's never been on Nintendo consoles before.
Yeah, but I have heard fans of Skyrim excited just to have it portable.
Yeah, and I can understand that. There's certain people that I know played that put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it, played it for years, and would play through it again in a portable format. I mean, I played through Zelda twice, Breath of the Wild, just for the hell of it. So I can appreciate that concept, but is that a large enough market?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, and like I always dismiss Minecraft because I've never played it and it's not probably really for me. But I mean, even at E3 when Microsoft was talking about their Scorpio, whatever they ended up calling it, the Pro 1000 T5000. I mean, they were like Minecraft in 4K. So I mean, that's still a heavy hitter, and that's sold well in the eShop.
Well,
from what I
yeah,
understand.
but the Minecraft, the focusing on graphics with Minecraft is kind of like those guys that build out a huge, thousands of dollars, worth of stereo equipment into like a Pinto or a old Volkswagen Beetle or something stupid,
It's not really a system seller, but it's nice to have on there.
No, and I get it. I mean, I don't know. The Minecraft thing is always kind of waiting for it to die off, and it never seems to. I mean, it's, I get what it is. It's like the definitive sandbox game. But it's just like, doesn't that get old to people after a while?
I would still love to see a Grand Theft Auto come to Switch. It seems like it'd be so easy even if they put out an older one.
I don't know. We'll have to see what kind of market they have. Nintendo, your typical Nintendo fan doesn't really tend to play a lot of those kind of games, right? We tend to play colorful, happy, goofy, stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like
that could be a crossover that they might need to cater to more. I mean, they tried with Wii U a little bit to go after what they're calling the hardcore gamers.
I mean, right in the old days, even when it was Super Nintendo versus Genesis, there was still legitimate action games and whatever on the Super Nintendo, but from that point, remember there was it Mortal Kombat, the blood, they didn't have blood, or
Blood
the
versus
blood
no
was
blood,
black.
Blood code. It was white. It was sweat.
Oh, okay,
Beat
that's
the
right.
sweat out of somebody. You hit him so hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Big gobs of sweat.
So from that point, like, you know what I mean? They started out as this family friendly, we're in every kid's, every family living room kind of mindset, and they were overly cognizant of that to the point that they kind of got this thing, and then they released a goofy purple GameCube, and they were backwards on cartridges. They just got this reputation for being kind of backwards and childish, right?
Yeah.
And,
well, that's when the arms race was kind of over for them. They just basically bowed out of the power arms race with bigger and better. The GameCube was really the last system, I think, that competed on a horsepower kind of level.
Yeah. And that was the thing is Nintendo 64 and the GameCube were both the powerhouses of their respective generations, weren't they? Weren't they more powerful than any other consoles of those respective generations, or am I wrong about that?
I don't even know if 64 really was, because I mean, PlayStation obviously could hold a lot more data, and that's why they got some of those big multi-disc RPGs and stuff.
Well, it could hold more. Yeah, I mean, it had more storage. It had a bigger disk, but I think raw processing power. Like that report I read, the reason the N64, the reason they went with cartridges, is simply because that way they could put, like, each cartridge that you buy would contain some of the chips necessary. Otherwise, if they put all those chips in the console itself, it would have been like another $150 or something.
Yeah, and then they still sold you like an expansion pack and
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that to boost hardware, which isn't bad. I mean, I could see that coming back in the future of having, like a modular hardware system like a PlayStation or an Xbox, where it's like, hey, it's time to swap out your memory.
I could see with the Switch, I could see them, now that this is taken off, they've got to be considering other concepts like a Switch box that's not a tablet. The super low cost version is just a little, it's like a little brick like an Apple TV that you just plug into your TV, and you have a Pro controller or you have a Joy-Con grip or whatever it is. But it's just a box that you plug in.
Yeah. People wanted that for Wii U.
Yeah, true. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I was just saying Switch Mini. That's what
you're looking for. Yeah, but yeah, basically just a little version that's not a portable, that just goes into the TV, and it doesn't have to be very big. It doesn't need. It can immediately be cheaper without the screen and without some of the other components of the portable.
Unfortunately, by the time they do it, it'll be so late.
Probably.
They'll have the Switch Pro or whatever has the new Tegra 2 chip.
Well, see, and that's the thing. If they were, they're smart about this constant stream of game releases. But if they were smarter, I think they'd have a constant stream of hardware accessory upgrades and yada yada too. Like once a year, there's like, hey, we got a new Super Dock that has an extra something or other in it. I still think there's a possibility of building a dock with an additional Tegra processor in it and letting them do like Crossfire, basically what PCs do with multiple GPUs. Like all that technology is mature enough now that they could just put out another dock later that's got another GPU in it. Suddenly you've got two GPUs. Suddenly you've got something that is comparable to an Xbox One or a PS4. They could do that. It might cost some money, but it would still be, as they're piecemealing it out, I would shell out for it, right?
I remember the NX rumors, when they were saying that maybe there would be some sort of way that it would wirelessly borrow processing power from other people's idle switches or NX at the time, and there was a lot of conversation about what exactly is going to be in this dock. Does this dock have extra fans? Does it do anything? And then it turned out it was just a piece of plastic.
Well, here's another thought that I had. That Pac-Man Versus, which Jason, we still need to we need to get some people together and try that out online. But when you're playing locally on Pac-Man Versus, you need two switches. And well, what if one of those switches was just, a Switch Lite or whatever, just the little box on the TV, and now all of a sudden you've got a Wii U again because you've got a Switch tablet in your hand, and then you've got another, Switch plugged into the TV effectively. So, that was what kind of the thing though about that though is if they were going to go down that road, I think they would have waited on Splatoon 2 to get that functionality back like the old game, because it still loses it with the map.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the new Nintendo Switch XL,
which we'll all buy because we're suckers.
Yep.
Even though we shouldn't give Nintendo money for being fan unfriendly bastards.
I did have one of my friends come up from Atlanta this week and lay hands on the Switch for the first time, and I suckered him into playing Snipper Clips, my much beloved but soon forgotten. It's like that's a great game when there's 3 or 4 games only available for the Switch, but it gets lost in the shuffle pretty quick. But we played our way through the first 2, whatever they are, worlds or levels. We did 20 game levels or something.
You ever do the 4 players on that?
Sweet. No, it's just I've only done 2 players, the most I've ever done on it.
I was able to get a 4-player going once. It's a little frantic. The downside is
chaotic.
There's not that many 4-player levels, and then we played through them all real quick, and it's like, oh, that's it. Oh well.
Still a really well thought out game.
Yes, very creative.
Agreed. But yeah, I don't know. So Switch, Christmas. What do you think,
Topics?
Jason? Are they going to deliver? Oh,
yeah. My question is do you think that Odyssey is enough of a system seller to keep the demand for the Switch high? Because I don't really know. I mean, all the games are out, kind of the bigger games. I just don't know how many
Yeah.
fans are out there. I just can't wait for Mario.
If it gets the buzz, I'm one of those. But if it gets the buzz that Zelda did, you know what I mean? That's what they're hoping for. If it ends up at the top of Metacritic, then it's
Right.
I don't know if it will. I don't know why Zelda did, to be quite honest. Zelda's a great game.
Yeah, it's ballsy to launch with a Zelda too, to be like, this is what we're gonna lay everything on. I mean, it's always kind of been a popular title, but I've always sort of considered it a niche title where there's a lot of Zelda fans, but you don't expect it to be like, this is our system seller. But it was a great game and delivered in every way that it needed to.
Yeah, no doubt. But best game ever on Metacritic? Not sure.
It's pretty good.
No, I mean, it's overrated because it's Zelda, and I admit that. It's still, don't get me wrong. It's I've only ever finished a few Zelda games, much less played through them twice. I think the only one I ever played through twice was the first one. And this is the second one that I've played through twice. So it's a hell of a game from my in my opinion. But I don't know. Best game
New
ever.
IP is going to be big. That's what Nintendo needs. There's going to be a day, and maybe this will be the day, that Mario is not going to be enough anymore. There's not going to be enough people super nostalgic about it that care enough that they're like, I'm going to buy a $300 system for a Mario game.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that nostalgia renews. Look at your daughter, right?
Yeah.
That's because you are turning her on to all this stuff. So in 20 years, when Nintendo's looking to reinvent itself again because they've been, in the toilet for the past 10 years, like always, it'll be her generation that'll be like, oh yeah, Mario, Sonic, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely into Sonic, man. She just learned about Sonic Dash, which apparently is a mobile game. It's like a total tablet. It's like she doesn't care what Sonic's on, but I haven't really got her into Mario yet because it's the one hit kills, I think, are a little too unforgiving for someone without a reading level yet. I don't think she's ready to handle that brutal reality, but I should try her out on Sonic Mania. I've been keeping that to myself so far.
That death is final.
Yeah, like I said, Sonic is so forgiving because as long as you got one ring, you live. But Mario, you're gonna fall down a pit or.
Yeah, I've abused the crap out of that on that new Sonic game, which I'm not playing again until they fix that. That I'd read that there was issues getting out, like hitting the home button and getting out of the game. But it just totally hung on me. Like the whole system hung on me. I couldn't even turn it off. Like a couple minutes later, it just seemed to shut off on its own, or it finally responded to me pushing the button. I don't know.
I have noticed the sluggish stuff, and I think I originally heard that it was only in handheld mode that people were having this stuff, but I've noticed taking screenshots, it'll be delayed. It's like I want to take a screenshot while I'm upside down in a loop-de-loop, and like by the time the screenshot actually goes off, I'm already out of the loop, and
that's annoying.
Yeah,
that's driving for some
going
reasons,
back to the home menu, I've noticed it too.
Some reason side-scrolling Sonic is just a handheld game to me. That's like I've played a little bit of it on the big screen, but most of it I've played on the handheld.
It never leaves my dock.
See, you could have bought a Switch box.
Yeah, I would.
You could have saved yourself. They could sell it for $250. $250. Would you do it? $50 cheaper.
I mean, I would have at launch if I had the option.
So?
Yeah, if I had the option at launch, I probably would. Well, maybe, I don't know, $50.
Yeah, $50. It's like, well, $50. I'm getting an actual tablet. It'd have to probably be $100.
The problem is that the price points are so tight. Like I've talked about with the 2DS and the 3DS, the XLs anyway for the 2DS XL. Like even if they did a Switch box, it's like it seems like it would have to be like 200 to hit that good price point,
Yeah.
but then it's competing with 3DS. And
well, but then it's two completely different things. It's a TV.
Yeah.
Then it is a home console versus a handheld.
That's true. That's true. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think they're too big on. I mean, they marketed around the clicky noise and the Joy-Con, which there's still, like I said, there's tons of garbage to come for those Joy-Con. We haven't even begun to hit the tip of the iceberg for all the dumb stuff we're going to be doing with those things.
I can't wait.
I know.
To kind of follow up on what you were saying there, basically, if there was just like a Switch box, that would make the tablet an accessory, a very expensive accessory.
Yeah.
I think we'd be seeing it on the store shelves right now. And no one would buy one. It's like, if it was $200, say, to buy it, or $150, that's a pretty hefty accessory.
Yeah, to make it a portable. And then they'd have to incorporate something where the box had a dock in case you did get the tablet. It'd be a whole thing.
It's like the Wii Mini, right? I think it would be late in its life.
Yeah.
It's like if we couldn't sucker you to buy a Switch, period, at this point, how about this? What do you say? It might even be, you know what I mean? It might even be down to 100 or
a last gasp.
Yeah. Like the 2DS, is $90 right now. I love how their price points are $100, $200, $300. How much is the 2DS?
I think the 2DS rate, the regular one is like,
130?
I think it was 89, and then the XL is like in that range, 130, 140, and then the other one's basically 200. Sometimes you get it on sale for 179. So yeah, they've got a lot of a wide range of price points to get people in at. And I still tell people that the 3DS, 2DS stuff is a good deal to have that library available now. But it definitely feels like it's on its way out.
I don't know. It's with Miiverse gone, it's going to be harder to open this thing. That made it feel somehow a little social. Like I need my stuff to feel social.
Well, I mean, you can still post to Twitter and Facebook. It's just going to take you 5 minutes or longer.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Well, isn't that only in certain games as well?
I don't know if it is. Yeah, probably. It's probably only in ones. I don't know.
I think it is just a handful of games, because I know someone was complaining on Twitter earlier that they've took away the ability to do screenshots, basically. Unless you, of course, take your card out and put it in your computer.
Which I do regularly just to back up my stuff.
Yeah, I used to. I've not been as regular as I should.
The 3DS, I need to. I haven't in a long time. But Switch I've been pretty studious about since I got.
Although they really haven't had a ton of games on 3DS, really, I mean, I know Animal Crossing obviously made huge, heavy use of it, but there's not a whole lot of them that have screenshot options, I don't think, anymore.
No, that pissed me off. I wanted to take screenshots in Pokemon, and I couldn't.
You should be able to do it with everything.
Wasn't there was like photo locations you could use? I think that saved the screenshots, but it's just one specific location within an area.
Yeah, but with Switch, they've done it where it's like it's almost too easy, because you just take shots all the time, sometimes accidentally.
Yeah, I have.
But yeah, it seems like with 3DS, there was just certain games that had that functionality. There was a lot of stuff on 3DS that they had the functionality early on, and then just kind of, we don't care anymore, like the play coins and stuff like that. After a while, they're just like, meh, never mind. And now it's gotten to the point where Street Pass isn't even really integrated.
Yeah, they could have done more interesting stuff with play coins. They should have done more interesting stuff with Street Pass. And again, not that Mi Plaza wasn't fabulous, but like the in-game stuff, it was really just kind of. It was like the waggle on the Wii. It was just like, oh, this feature is here. I guess we got to support it. So they just throw in some half-assed, you can unlock something stupid that you don't care about when you street pass somebody or whatever. And it was the same thing with the play coins. Some of the early games, right? You could buy this or that with your play coins, and then they just kind of meh.
Yeah, let me
I don't
let
know
me
why.
buy JPEGs from my Nintendo with my play coins.
Yeah, there you go. Like, yeah, that'd be nice if your play coins, like you could get 10 platinum My Nintendo coins a day if you got your play coins. Like if they had integration with that, if you actually walked with it.
I
Seems
think
like
they're
all that
trying to
health
tell
stuff
us
is gone.
they don't care if we're carrying it anymore.
I think they're also trying to tell us they don't care if we walk. Like, right? There was all this stuff we had that kind of health bent to it. We Fit and all the get up off your couch stuff with the Wii, and they've always kind of talked about it. The Poke Walker, and
Yeah.
I remember in the very early days in the '80s, right? Because it was this thing. Oh no, kids are becoming couch potatoes. All they do is sit and play Nintendo all day. So
They
Nintendo was
tell us
trying
to take a walk with our Switch if so many people hadn't fallen off of cliffs playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's true.
But they know that we really just sit at home with the, whatever device in our hands and shaking it to get the necessary steps to
Yeah.
get the point. They are kind of doing that with Splatoon 2 as far as rewarding you for your play kind of thing with the downloadable wallpapers from Splatnet 2. I don't know if either of y'all are doing that, but
Nah.
they do exist.
Yeah, and see, I know my Nintendo's got a couple Splatoon things. I did see something recently where on the My Nintendo site they have a poster for Mario and Rabbids and also a poster for Splatoon 2 that you can get using your check-in feature at the Nintendo store in New York only. It also said like a suggested value of $30 or $26.99. I'm like, yeah, right. This is a poster.
If you went to a Nintendo event, there would be 100 of them laying on the table and scattered across the floor.
Yeah. Or maybe it'd be like the coveted metal cup from their summer play thing.
Or it would just be or a pre-order bonus.
Yep. Free in store on launch day.
Yeah. Like my Jabanian shirt.
Ooh. Is that yokai?
Yeah. And it was GameStop, and they're like, "Hey," and like after I bought it, like as I'm walking out, they're like, "Hey, you want a shirt? We got a whole bunch of these." So either that meant nobody bought Yokai Watch, or they forgot to give out the shirts, or something.
Do I? Oh,
sure.
yeah,
I should have gotten a second one. It's the most obnoxious, like fire cone orange. It's the wife makes fun of me when I wear it.
I downloaded the free theme. That's about as far as I got with Yokai.
I played it. It was cute. The only reason I couldn't get into it is just like, oh, like now there's 300 new creatures to learn that aren't Pokemon. No thanks.
Yeah, it seemed to me like it was just another Pokemon or another version of Pokemon.
It is, and it's got some neat mechanics to it. I like the way the battles work. There's some like weird touchscreen stuff that you do in the battles, like that makes it more of an action game, right? You actually have to do stuff at the right time, swirl your finger around in a certain pattern or whatever the case may be. So it was some neat battle mechanics like that. But at the end of the day, it was a Pokemon clone, and I just didn't want to start over again with a new gotta catch 'em all game.
That's a big theme in Nintendo is the collectability. I don't know if other games do that as much, but yeah, Nintendo's all about giving you trinkets to collect.
Yeah, I guess this isn't really Nintendo. It's what, level 5 or whatever.
Yeah, well, but they're pushing. Those are those games that kind of blur the lines where Nintendo pushes a title so hard, even though it's
did
not
they publish
necessarily them. I don't know if they published it it's got its own wallpaper from My Nintendo. There's not too many games that have that.
That's true. Yeah, it's definitely something close to the best. Sorry, Jason.
I was just saying they're connected somehow.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things like Game Freak where Nintendo owns some, large percentage or something. Yeah.
I mean, you can watch Yokai Watch on Netflix. It's got its own cartoon, and They're trying to make it a thing. Speaking of things
Well,
that
it's a
are
huge
sort of
thing in
Nintendo.
Japan.
Yeah.
But
the Rabbids are around now. Does anyone feel anything about Rabbids? I'm not particularly pumped for it.
I'm having a hard time getting excited about it. The concept sounds interesting, but I could never get into XCOM so much either.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of variations of that kind of turn-based or real-time strategy-ish type games, and it just seems like another one. And yeah, it's Mario and Rabbids, but I don't know. I
From
was
what I
never a
saw,
fan of the
it looked
Paper
like
Mario
Project
stuff
Steam.
either. Or Codename Steam.
Codename Steam. Yeah. You
Yeah,
hide behind stuff, attack stuff. It's turn-based at its best. It looks good.
It looks neat. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And and so did Codename Steam, but I don't know. There's only so much time I have to play games. Maybe I'm just a creature of habit and I just want to play the same old Mario and Zelda games, but I don't know, that one's just not thrilling me.
For me,
probably pick up the non-amiibo amiibos.
For me, what has killed the game was the Rabbids. I've always thought they were irritating, to put it nicely, I guess. And the kind of the same thing with Codename Steam. It's a fun game, but I wish it was based on something totally different. Abraham
If they'd
Lincoln.
thrown a different IP on it, you'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I don't care if it's even an original IP, but just fine with like Abraham Lincoln and Pocahontas or whatever. Who cares? Who
It was
wants that?
weird. Yeah, it was like I don't know why they decided it was going to be a bunch of weird
historical
figures as characters. Historical
they
figures
should have
and
done
then
that
fake
as
characters,
Metroid Prime
right?
Federation. They could have skinned it as the Metroid Prime Federation guys and had them doing it.
Yeah, if it was just generic characters, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
I want to see that on the back of the box.
Well, they're pushing Fire Emblem Warriors, which is just another Warriors. And Jason, you'd agree those Warriors games are far more interesting when they're based on actual historical figures, right?
Yeah, that's what kind of compels you to keep going, or at least it was for me.
Yeah.
Some of them. You play through, like a single player campaign, but you play with a different character and you find out, oh yeah, I know these events, but here's how it happened from their side. That's the reason they attacked this army.
Yeah, exactly. It's peppered with names you might recognize or historical tidbits that you might have heard of and whatever, and it just makes it real, and it's kind of like when you watch a documentary, you feel like you're not completely wasting your time. Feel like you're getting a little something out of it. Whereas Zelda Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, and
just a button masher. Yep.
Yeah. That being said, the wife played the crap out of Pokemon Conquest and loved it.
There was a little bit of news about Fire Emblem Warriors, by the way, that I saw that you can choose on the Switch. You can sacrifice your resolution for locking the frames, so you can play it in 720p with 60 frames or 1080p with 30 frames. So you can actually choose what resolution and frame rate you want. I'd imagine everyone's going to go for frame rate over resolution.
I imagine most people will look at the resolution and go, oh, and then switch to 720 and never go back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fair bit. I also saw, we talked about it last week, the other Fire Emblem for 3DS is going to get a US special edition release as well with the 3 CDs. So
that's the same game.
Yeah.
It's all the same game. And it's funny.
Oh, is that Warriors?
Yeah, they always show the Switch version, but then it's like a comment later on Twitter. They're also available on new 3DS systems, and it's like, okay.
And that's the one that's getting the CDs, right? It's like the Switch one's not getting that.
Yeah, it's I think it's CDs, collectible cards. I'm trying to think what else. Just 3 or 4 things. Maybe an art book.
They're really going to run this Fire Emblem thing into the ground.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
love Fire Emblem. It's one of my favorite series, but I just cannot get interested in this. And I think one of my biggest issues is just taking characters from like the last two major releases. And like with Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game, one of the things that's the most interesting is you can play with, this huge plethora of characters that you've known for years and years. And I think it's kind of missing that, but that's just me.
Feels more like a marketing thing where they're just promoting whatever's the
Yes.
most recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Hyrule Warriors felt like. It's like, hey, we don't have our Zelda yet, but here's this.
Yeah. Here's
It's sort of like a new
Linkle.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Linkle.
I think Triforce Heroes was on sale as well. I saw.
If you do not own Triforce Heroes, do not buy that game.
Yeah.
Do not support Nintendo in that fashion.
Boy,
if there's a Triforce Heroes 2, I mean that's evil. That's pure evil.
If you see Triforce Heroes, which you won't, but if you were to see Triforce Heroes for $10 on Amazon or Metroid Prime Federation Force for $10 on Amazon, they're not worth it. Not even for the collector value. Maybe.
I'll put that to the test.
Years from now. Yeah, years from now. Is yours still in package?
My Metroid Prime is, yeah.
You know what? You're a bastard because I should have done that. I opened mine up. I put it in the 3DS. I'm pretty sure I've never actually launched it.
I think I bought it for like $6, and I just got it like a month ago, as a curiosity. I said, since they're going to do some Metroid stuff.
You got it for $6, and you were smart enough to wait to get it for $6, and B, you were smart enough to leave it in the package. You're a bastard.
I might open it one of these days. I don't know.
No, you won't.
I don't think it'll ever really be worth anything, but
you're probably right.
I mainly bought it just because I'm like, that's one of the only Metroid games I don't own. It might be the only one I don't own.
Yeah, that's same here.
I've even got the pinball game.
I don't have other M.
Oh,
sorry.
I was just saying, I 100%ed that Triforce Heroes, and it is, yeah.
I can't believe you did that.
Part of my life is gone, and I will never get it back.
Yeah, are you not hoping that Cheerleader Link will become part of canon?
No.
It just, I don't know. It seemed like a great idea, didn't it? Didn't it sound like a good idea when it came out?
Everyone who was nostalgic for the Four Swords games, like, I remember they were like, finally, another cool experience that we can get together with our friends and play. And
but your friends aren't there. You're playing with random people who would rather throw you off the wall than complete the level.
That was the pisser, was the randoms. There should have been some sort of thumb up or thumbs down system or something. You know what I mean? There should have been some way that if somebody's repeatedly being a dumbass that they could have gotten put into a different rotation. But again, Nintendo has no matchmaking that we're aware of.
Yeah. Although Splatoon 2, I mean, you can go in and block users you've played with on the Switch and just be like, I don't want to see this guy again.
They did add a feature where you could play with, I think they called it slow or fast-paced. Basically, you could play with serious players or you could play with newer players. And I found whichever one you went into, you got the same quality of people. In Triforce Heroes, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, Smash had the for fun and for glory. I kind of think, like with Splatoon 1, there was the ranked battle versus the turf war.
Yeah.
Was a little more serious. I ranked up again in Splatoon 2 today. I've hit the S+.
Oh, really?
Zones.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I'm grinding.
You are grinding. I have not been able to put that much time in.
I've been trying to grind, but I'm not having that kind of success.
It's a long, slow one.
It is. I mean, it was just, I'm just getting right, because I jumped from C- to like B on Rainmaker, but then I jumped to B- on the other two. So I'm just getting those to B was like waiting for the right one, because I'm trying to do them all in order just because I'm stupid, and like just waiting for the right one to pop up. So it's like, oh, I can do some splat zones and get it up a rank, and then that was just a painful grind, and then it rolled over to what's it called, tower control, and I was just already burnt out. I didn't feel like it.
I've noticed this time around I do pick different weapons for different modes.
Yeah.
I always did.
So, which I used to always just kind of stick with a lot of the same couple weapons, but now I've started ink brushing and bucketing, and
Oh, nice.
I'm all over the place.
Picked up the bucket too. Sweet.
And I do
Yeah,
like that. I
for
do
tower.
like that umbrella. It's just any of the push to shoot weapons, man. I guess I'm just getting old. After 20 or 30 minutes of it, I just can't do it anymore.
There's some that are better than, like, the tri-slosher is fine. The regular slosher is a little bit slower. So I think, like, with the tri-slosher, it feels like every time you press, you're getting a bucket full going. Where some of the other weapons, it seems like like some of the blasters and stuff seem like they're slower.
You can all the blasters. You can hold the button and it'll continue to fire.
They just are so slow.
Yeah.
Huh?
The blaster weapons, like, they're really slow to fire, and I always thought that they were push each time for some of them, other than like the rapid
you didn't
blaster.
even realize that you could.
I didn't even realize that you could hold it down.
So long.
It takes so long. Like, to me, like, even just when I do the little test range in there where you're testing out weapons, I'm like, I'm gonna get so killed just waiting for the next shot to come out. So if it's not a one-hit kill, then it's not even worth it.
Yeah, that was kind of my attitude on blasters too. But people are good with them.
I love blasters. I must be the odd one out.
Yeah,
I
like the rapid
machine.
blaster.
Yeah.
The Stingray's really keeping me away from that new level 30 blaster, the Clash Blaster.
Stingray is evil. It's on Triforce Heroes kind of level almost.
What, just in terms of sucking, or?
Yeah, it's not really that bad. I mean, I do use the special sometimes in Salmon Run, and it's okay, but
It is what it is.
I try not to pop it if I can. Like,
it's really good. I have found people that use it effectively. What they do is they drop down to ground level, so that, you know what I mean, so that it gets more coverage. Or they drop down, you know what I mean? Because if you're shooting it down, it's just a point on the ground that you can avoid. But the people that are good with it will get to somewhere where they can kind of sweep it across a whole area, and it really just makes everyone dodge. Right? It just kind of scatters the team if they do it right.
I've seen it used well in tower control if they concentrated on the tower.
Oh,
and,
yeah, I can imagine.
In the Moray Towers level, you can, like, paint the wall to climb up vertically, so sometimes I'll start out by popping that and just putting a streak of ink up their wall so that if I get over there I can jump up it, but it's garbage for the most part.
Have you used Tenna missiles on tower control?
I have, because sometimes I'll use Jet Squelcher, but they're just so easy to avoid. But if somebody's on the tower, it at least gets them off the tower for a second.
When I was doing twins with, I guess we call him QWERTY, when I was playing with him the other day, we had several sets with Tenna missiles, and it would clear the tower every time. It was well played, I mean.
Every time I get somebody with those, I feel like it was cheap. Like, I'm like, I can't believe somebody fell for that.
It's the new ink strike. And you know what? Yeah. Usually when I die, it's because I'm dodging my own and there's somebody nearby and I end up jumping into one of their missiles. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's like, if you can get a cluster of people together, you're probably going to get at least one of them.
Yeah.
That'll change. Eventually people will realize they got to scatter to the four corners.
Ever since I got the gold arrow spray, though, I'm really liking the hamster ball. I've gotten very good with it. Especially on that one with the bridge. There's nothing more satisfying than when you've got people under the bridge and you drop down and explode.
Yes.
The muscle, is that the Muscle Forge one?
No, shoot, that's the other one. Anyone remember the one with the little bridge? in the middle.
I was thinking
With the-
Muscle Forge has the little grate that you go across.
Yeah, but there's one that's got a little, bridge with area under it that you can ink. In Splat zones, the area under the bridge is the zone.
Is that ink
You know what I'm talking about? Nope, not the Art Academy, I don't think.
Okay, let's just go through the stages then. Okay, there's Humpback Pump Track, which is the one with the big rounded, curvy area.
Skate park.
Skate park, basically. There's the new one. It's the Manta Maria. It's got bridges.
I like that one. Yeah,
I like that one a lot. That's a fun level. But go ahead, not that one.
Starfish Main Stage. But that's just a big open area in the middle. Inkblot.
Inkblot Art Academy is the one with the weird tree, right? That you can jump to and sit on top of.
Yeah, it looks like a cat paw.
Yeah.
It's like a sculpture.
Yeah. Okay, not that one.
Let's see.
God, are there more?
Muscle Forge and Sturgeon Shipyard.
Oh, okay.
No.
And the other two are older ones. We all know those.
Okay.
Port Mackerel.
So I gotta look at all the stages because it's none of those. Inkblot Art Academy is the one with the tower in the middle, right?
Right.
That yeah. The one with the little round, like brick-looking bridge that has gaps on either side. It's a little block in the middle, and there's usually a brush or a roller up there. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
It's got a bunch of trees. Really?
They've all got trees.
Well, whatever. You guys talk about the next topic.
Yeah, what else?
Stages. Let's finish this one out.
Tune in.
Tune in next week.
That's the resolution.
Right. That's
right. Next week, yeah.
Check the Twitter.
No.
You got to get a screenshot of that bridge to us for the Twitter page now.
No.
Yeah.
I'm imagining this bridge in his mind is actually just like a wall that he's walking on.
Okay.
Like that he's walking on top of one of the walls.
I'm on a web page listing the Splatoon 2 maps, and I don't see it on this page.
This was a dream you had, man.
No, this is a map I've played on 1,000,000 times, and I've been sick of and been waiting for it to change to the next page or the next stage.
What is this one?
Pass. Yeah.
It's a really small stage.
Is it the one with the car in it? When you start off to the right, there's a car and a tree.
Yep, the one with the car. That's the one I'm talking about.
There's one with a car?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've played that. It seems like that one is always on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know the little bridge you're talking about now. Man, I cannot think of the name of that place.
Surprising to me that's not that it took us this long to figure it out. But everywhere I'm looking online, I'm not seeing that stage listed.
That is a fun level too. I've been playing that a ton in ranked, especially because the zone's underneath the bridge. So it's like trying to get your little ink strikes.
Yeah, that's why the little hamster ball is so awesome, because you can jump off that bridge while you're triggering it, and then you just nail everybody under it.
That's probably the most useful area for an inkjet as well, because you can start on one side and shoot all the way under, and people will charge you.
Is it something Academy?
No, that's not. It's I'm on the Splatoon 2 website, and I don't even see the stages listed.
This can't make for interesting podcast material, though.
Nobody will play along at home.
Us trying to figure out what stage
scream it
is
out.
that?
If you're listening at home, just scream it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where always a bunch of old guys. Oh, what stage is that?
There's not too many yet either.
No.
But oh well.
We will find a picture and we will post it on Twitter.
At this point, we know what we mean.
That's right.
At least we're all in agreement that this does exist now.
That's right.
I'm not. I'm just happy to know that I am sane.
I'm like, what has a bridge? But yeah, it's a big old bridge.
Yep.
It's a big arched bridge.
That's really the only feature in
yeah.
the map, other than
Yeah,
the
that's the
car
main
off
one.
in the corner.
Yeah, that car is so out of place there. But yeah, that's a fun one. I've been doing a ton of ranked, and the Splat zone underneath there is a war zone for sure.
It is a bloodbath down there. It's awesome.
It's like you don't want to really go under the bridge unless you have to.
Yeah.
And that's why I will use a jet squelcher for that area. I have noticed there are certain areas too where you can block, like in the Inkblot Academy, like there's a little ledge that on your side that you can climb up to that has like a roof above it. That will block Tentamissiles, so they will hit the roof and not hit you.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you can go under grates as well, like on
Yeah.
Grates work.
stage. Yep.
And you guys know the trick on the Art Academy to get back to their spawn point, right?
Go across the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can actually jump from your side. You can jump from the box on the far right and reach the mid if you've got the small wall painted.
Yeah. And in Humpback Pump Track, you can also jump onto their grates, to get back to the outsides. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's like, even in Muscle Forge Fitness, there's a way for them, to jump up to your area.
There's one little grate.
Annoying little areas, yeah.
Yeah, there's like the intentionally, there's a little grate that sticks out just far enough. I like that they put those little, like the one in the Inkblot Art Academy isn't obvious until I saw somebody on my side, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. So then I went and started hunting around and figured out where it was. But it's neat that there's those little tricks. They've intentionally designed those in so that you can find those. And they, for noobs, they might be maddening. Right.
Well, in the first game, it seems like there were little areas that you figured out that you could do stuff, whether or not you were supposed to. And it seems like this time they definitely designed it in there intentionally. Yeah. Boy, it always gets back to how great Splatoon is.
Yep.
And I wasn't sure how I felt, but the more time you put into it, the more you just kind of accept it.
Yep.
Yeah, I want more maps. I know they'll roll them out slowly. I want them to bring out. Hopefully, they're smart about it. They got a bunch. They got a backlog of maps, and that they can bring out over time. All of which were good. I missed the mall. I miss the one with the oil platform one, the oil derrick.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Salt spray rig.
Salt spray rig. Thank you. Yeah, like they could bring all of these back. Like every so often they drop a new one, like a brand new one, and every so often they can just drop an old one that's remade into this. Like what's the port one? The shipping.
Port
Port mackerel. The
other
one.
Port mackerel we have. They were they updated port mackerel a little bit. Oh yeah, Walleye Warehouse. Those two were damn similar, but they weren't quite the same, and they were both cool. But yeah, and actually of the two, I would have picked Walleye Warehouse over the Port Mackerel. But you notice like Port Mackerel has some minor updates, and the only thing on the towers that I can think of that they changed was they added the little, what are those things called? The little rails.
Ropes that you can climb up to the ink rails.
That's pretty much the only addition period to that map, huh? Like as far as I can tell, that map is otherwise identical. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, for the most part. That does make it interesting though that you can zip up to the other guy's little spot and sneak attack them sometimes because there's one of those rails right on the right hand side. Yeah.
I'm getting better at taking people out on those rails.
Yeah, I am too. I'll sit there as soon as if I'm standing in the kind of main area before you jump down. If I see that rail light up, I just watch it. I'm like, this guy's gonna get killed. But I've noticed too, people will troll you a bit. You'll see people that hit that rail on purpose just to draw your attention away.
Yep.
That's why I really love those auto bombs. Those are the best troll weapon in the whole game. That makes the ink brush so much fun to just throw auto bombs everywhere. and I'll throw them up there. I'll hit that thing, and then they'll wait for me, and I'll just throw an auto bomb up there. If you haven't used those yet, Z, get on the auto bombs. I know Jason knows what's up.
I have not played with the auto bombs much yet.
Get some ink saver sub. Do that.
Yeah.
Work on them.
I know they're great. I mean, like they don't kill me very often, but they keep me moving, right?
Yeah, you cannot just leave them alone. Like they require you give them your undivided attention for a little while because you have to get away, and it seems like they'll follow you for a long time.
They will. I've gotten better at triggering them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I do. I just get up close to them. Yep. That's our pro tip for the week, folks. Yeah, that's how I've been dealing with them as well. I am getting to the point where I'm ready for some new outfits though, because I'm up to 700,000 squid bucks.
I've got a cool million, man.
At some point, Lord, you guys.
At some point, I guess I need to start getting my swappable chunks on.
What level are you at this point?
I think I'm only like a 39 or something.
Only 39.
I'm 41, so I'm not too far ahead.
Once you get to that point, though, it's like it's over like 1 million points or something to level up for the next level. So it's going to take a little while.
Yeah, you're not playing until you level up, most likely.
Yeah, it's like even those I've been saving tickets, and they're going to be worthless because even at twice the level, it's going to take forever. From Krusty Sean, like at twice the experience level, it's still going to take forever to level up.
Yeah, no, I'll get to 30. I'll be happy with that, and then Mario will be out.
Yeah, 30 is the new 20.
Yeah,
and once you hit 30, every level you get a Super C Snail from
Super C Snail. Yep.
Oh,
yeah. If you go talk to him, he'll give you a little present. Although I still haven't used my Splatfest ones, and there's another Splatfest upon us.
I use all of mine. I just rolling for stats, just for fun, playing the slot machine.
I don't remember if we talked about this last week, but the swappable chunks seem like they're just a little bit excessive to require 10.
Yeah.
Because that just takes a little too long. But
I agree.
Eventually, we'll all just have so much money and nothing to do with it that we'll just spend it on that.
Yeah, I got gear that has 2 of 3, what I want. So I'll spend the 10 to switch them around as opposed to spending the 30 to get 3 of the same.
Yeah, which I still don't know. I've seen a couple of people with like swim speed up ×3, and I don't know that it really makes that big of a difference. They've never really been clear on that.
Well, no, it's definitely diminishing returns. I know that. They were clear about that, but I don't know what the multiplier is or whatever. I saw somewhere once a long time ago where somebody did the actual math and percentages, basically figured out that one large stat was worth slightly more than 3 small stats.
Mm-hmm. But it varies some by ability, though.
Oh, that too. Yeah, it does. But there was the reason, though, was that one small stat is equivalent to 1/3 of a big stat, supposedly, or at least from what I had read. But because of the diminishing return on each one, that's why 3 of them doesn't count as much as a single large.
But we really don't know for sure in Splatoon 2 how much that has changed.
That's true, too.
There's very little research. And in fact, earlier this week, I just found a video that finally explained sub power-up and special power-up. So, and they work very differently than I was expecting. So,
well, and I'm reading stuff like I think last week we were talking about sprinklers degrade over time. I think we decided that's bogus, right?
Yeah,
well,
I don't think
I haven't. I've been using sprinklers now, and I'm throwing them, and they don't seem to be going anywhere unless I die.
I think maybe what that's talking about, when you first throw them, there's like a sped up phase, and then it's kind of hits like a normal speed, if that makes sense.
The amount of ink that it's putting out
goes
down a little bit. Yeah. Where's the
at
Squid
first
Research
toss.
Lab on these ones?
Yeah, exactly. For a company, for a game that markets itself with the Squid's Research Lab, there doesn't seem to be a lot of details about all these mechanics.
Nope. Their descriptions are very simplistic and even misleading to a point.
Maybe
Starting
they
to think the Squid Research Lab is just a shadow corporation.
You know what though, from the flip side of it, maybe they figure if all the mechanics are known, then it's gameable. Whereas, right, if it's more kind of just a secret, then it's really strategy versus people figuring out the math.
I don't think it makes a big difference. I think it's like a little meta game to do and play, but I think for the most part, the people that are going to kill you are going to kill you no matter what.
That's true.
Like
they don't
there's
make
still
up
some
for
amazing
skill.
players out there. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That being said, for example, like having swim speed or having ninja squid when played well, or having certain stats when played properly are a significant advantage.
Yeah.
I like it when it's just me and some other guy circling each other, trying to figure out who's going to kill the other one first.
Those are the best moments where you're
at point blank range.
Those are the best moments in the game where you both have the short range. Because lately I'm always with the arrow spray, so it's always pretty close up. So yeah, and you're chasing each other around one of those bumper things, or you're chasing somebody up and down off a bridge and back up onto the bridge or whatever. And yeah, even if you die at the end, it's still a pulse pounding several seconds or however long it lasts.
And I'm always satisfied if we both kill each other. I'll still
at the end of that. At the end of that, if it ends up being a trade-off, it's like, okay, it's a respectable. Yeah.
Somebody that I kept meeting in ranked this week, and he killed me and then did the little squid bagging thing and like real happy about it. So like when I respawned, I immediately killed him and then did a squid bag thing. And then it became like over 3 or 4 matches, we kept meeting on opposite teams, and we would keep doing that to one another. And I would start teasing him and like doing it really slowly, like I'd be like buck 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 buck. I was thinking about adding him as a friend, and then I said, "Screw that guy! He squid bagged me."
I think the best one I've had is a guy that after he would splat you, he would apparently had motion controls and you'd wiggle him back and forth so it looked like he was shaking his head no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have to admit I laughed pretty hard about that.
But enough about Splatoon 2. We've got more important things to talk about this week.
I'm gonna have to try that trick. That's funny. You could do that with the stick, probably.
And he might have been using stick. That might be why.
Yeah.
But he just kind of done
I like
it back
when
and
they
forth.
do that and then they get killed.
Yeah. That's the best. Is watching somebody squid bag you and then one of your teammates immediately just nails them.
He gets rolled over by a roller.
Yeah. That's always embarrassing anyway.
So
topics.
So moving on, we've got to get to the sad bad news this week, which of course is Nintendo officially announced that the Wii U services will end, and this of course is the biggest one, Miiverse.
They officially announced the death of Miiverse.
It's got a date.
Yeah.
We
knew it was coming.
It's the end of the whole entire Miiverse.
It's the end of the era. They've been trying to kind of get rid of the Mii, or they've shoved the Mii to the background now with a Switch. Whereas just to get your Mii on the thing, you got to own an amiibo pretty much, unless you're going to rebuild it from scratch.
For some reason, you talking about shoving Miis reminded me of that one article listing all the amiibos and how well they would fit in your ass.
Sorry. Really? Is there an article on that?
Yeah, did I not send you that?
No, I figured the squid, or if you get the antenna off of Olimar, it's probably the way to go. Maybe Boo or Kirby. Anyway.
Well, I mean, just
off the top of my head,
Only on the Nintendo Open Air podcast.
Definitely do not recommend the new Pikmin amiibo.
we're referring to somebody else's article, but yeah, it was an earlier article, so it was just kind of the first, few generations of Amiibo, and now there've been, that was probably before the giant Mario and the.
Sadly, that's probably one of the best uses for Amiibo that anyone's found.
Yeah, and especially the Guardian, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's tried it, I guarantee you.
But these are the kind of things that you would hear about on Miiverse.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
Miiverse was great. Miiverse was great for weird, random, not quite shoving things in your ass necessarily, but weird stuff on Miiverse. Weird, fun stuff that was mostly reasonably family friendly because they curated it.
Yeah, it's definitely let you know how many weird people there are out there because everyone's just seen all kinds of weird stuff, especially the build up to Smash was like a huge thing with, everyone wanting their Shreks and Gokus and the Ridleys, which isn't necessarily unreasonable. That was the most reasonable request of the unreasonable ones. But yeah, it was, we all came together. That was like, we've talked about Sub Wars and it had a very active community and it was neat to be able to, for that kind of thing, like where you're playing these people and then saying, hey, there's that guy I just played with. I was like, hey, let's talk about stuff. And that's kind of how we all came together. Was through Miiverse. So it is the end of an era for sure. They're also getting rid of the Wii U chat, which I did not use very much, except for occasionally. But I've still got a piece of paper taped over my camera, just because I don't want anyone to see me ever. I'm hideous. But yeah, I don't know why they have to get rid of that at the same time. And then I guess they had also mentioned TV, which that has already been dead in North America. I'm pretty sure. I don't even remember what they call it.
I thought that was turned off quite a while ago. Yeah.
But they're discontinuing that if it's still live in Europe, maybe or wherever. But they've got a little FAQ on the Nintendo North America site where they talk about things like, well, what's going to happen to games like even the Super Mario's where there's like integration with Miiverse and stuff like that. It's like, well, it won't work. Splatoon's not going to have the art popping up anymore. They did mention that they were basically too lazy to remove the Miiverse icon. So they said the Miiverse icon will stay on your 3DS and on your Wii U and just will say this feature does not work or has been disabled or whatever.
Here's the weirdest thing about that is they updated it to add the Miiverse icon in the first place, the 3DS.
Right. No takebacks.
Yeah, like really? You guys didn't? Yeah.
As much as they're willing to update all the time for this mysterious stability, we never
general
do.
Stability enhancements.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd think they could just take that icon off. But that was something that was on the box, as was Swap Note, when it first launched. That was one of the features that they would tout. It's like I said, I think they probably put a lot of time and resource into trying to moderate and keep naughty stuff away from that. So that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm sure they built it out thinking that it wasn't because they weren't making any money off of Miiverse directly. It was just a support thing. They weren't charging for it, whatever. And I think somebody just looked at it and said, "Hey, we should charge for online services and then provide less."
Yeah, well, and then the web-based version of Miiverse does have some ads and stuff though. That they integrated into it, so they're making a little bit of something there. They did say that they're going to have an option for artists to be able to get their own little page where they can download the stuff that they've drawn and you can view your own posts.
Here's the other thing: is why not leave Miiverse up as just a web page? Then all of a sudden, it's not. It's no longer. Maybe not even let people post to it anymore, but still leave it up.
Right. Well, that's another thing I thought was interesting. It said you'll be able to download your posts, but all the comments will be deleted from them.
Yeah.
So you'll just have your original thing.
And you'll get that email to you after it's ended.
Yeah.
No.
But it is odd. I never thought that they would actually give us a hard date for it. I just thought one day it would be gone, because I can only imagine. I think they said November 8th was the last day, so the 7th is just going to be penis drillings galore.
I figured it would be long after they sunsetted even the 3DS. That's kind of what I thought.
Well, that does make it weird that they're trying to still keep that as a thing and then getting rid of Miiverse. Although it did come late to the 3DS too. I remember that being a big event when
Yeah.
Miiverse came to 3DS. That was almost like the AOL disc that you would get. It's like finally everyone's able to get online and we've opened up the floodgates. It was like it was fairly like well moderated and polite, and then they let in 5 times the amount of users when the 3DS hit, and all hell broke loose. That's when stuff started getting wackier on Miiverse, I think.
Still, it was a great place to go and have a random conversation with a random person that was passionate about the same game you were passionate about.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
it was.
Or you could be playing with somebody in Splatoon, and they have an actual profile that you can go find, and you know what I mean, and you can
Learn a
see
little
their
bit about
posts
them.
or whatever. Yeah, you can. Oh, this guy's cool. Yeah, I'll add him.
Or many more times, this guy's probably 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or this guy's account has already been banned.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the
the
blocks are amazing.
even with a friend request, I miss that, to where you can put a little note on it when you send it, like, played,
Yeah.
Splat Zones with you earlier. Let's play again or something. That way it isn't just out of the blue, because I've got some and it's like, who are these people?
Yeah.
You see it the next day or something.
You get that on Switch. I get tons of Splatoon 2 friend requests from random people, and I'm just like, I guess I kind of remember seeing that dude's name. I don't remember if they were any good or not. I guess what I should do is moderate it myself and join them next time I see them playing and find out if they suck or not.
Yeah, you obviously must be very good, because I've had nobody try to add me.
I've only had a
Maybe
handful, but
Maybe they think you're a girl because you have the name Momo and you have long hair.
that could be. Did I know that? That's all right. I'm okay with that.
I did.
But yeah, Miiverse it's sad. It's so sad.
It is.
I'm gonna miss it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a unique, very Nintendo thing. It's like I met a lot of like people my age even on there, like especially for virtual console titles where you could start up little conversations about things. But it is weird how they did stuff like, they added the little 30 message limit at some point to kind of keep people from having conversations.
Well, it was because
So
people were doing, like, they were filling up the server with like, there weren't people like doing MMOs basically, like via or not MMOs, but you're right, they were doing like text-based like RPGs over Miiverse.
yeah,
That's
and
what
who
I
can forget
understood.
all the hot role plays?
From
If you ever walked in on one of those.
from my experience, those type of bans were, or restrictions were usually related to spam attacks, where someone would come on and
Yeah.
spam as much as they could. It's just to kind of damage control, as from my experiences.
Well, they did put a time limit in too, where you couldn't. Was it 2 minutes or something? You couldn't post more than like a message every 2 minutes. It was a unique little thing, and they've obviously integrated Facebook and Twitter now, and with the Switch. But it's still like you've got to since you can't share that information now, you've got to find a way. If there's anybody on Miiverse that you haven't connected with through any other means, now's your time. You've got 2 months to try to get your secret messages to them to connect. And yet on Wii U, you can simply just send them a message that's not moderated.
But with that, how many people still have their Wii U's on and are going to see the notification? Even when it was active, there was times I would go a month and it's like, oh, somebody I know has sent me a message a long time ago.
Hey, want to play Mario Kart 8 tonight? Oh, sorry, man. This was a month ago.
Yeah, this was in July. Okay. I think they should lift that restriction as far as social media. especially since Nintendo has directly said people prefer to use social media, so that's what we're going to let people do.
And that's their excuse, because
Yeah.
people would prefer to have, people would have preferred Miiverse, right? People
Some
would have
people.
preferred a quote unquote bulky gaming headset to this crap they're giving us now. But
yeah, I think there's a lot of kids
that's how
out
they
there,
spin it.
and that's like their training wheels social media, and that's the only social media they have. And there are a lot of people that talk back and forth daily that kind of check in on Miiverse, so it will be a sad time for those people, I guess. But for the most part, I've moved away from Miiverse by now anyway.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately we did because it was, a very limited
It was so much
conversation
faster.
platform.
Yeah.
So much faster to do it on another platform.
But like Mo said, for kids or whatever, that this is maybe their kind of first experience with such a thing. I think it was great, and it is disappointing to see it go.
And it's anonymous more so than even in like a Twitter or a Facebook, where you didn't. We could go on there and we didn't necessarily know each other personally, but we could organize nights to get together and play on Splatoon. Or, if you wanted on
Skill
Sub Wars,
Divers.
you could be like, yeah, hey, I'm going to be playing tonight. If anybody wants to jump in, find me in Worldwide Random or whatever, not Worldwide.
It feels a little
Region.
personal to, like, say, for example, last week after the show, we were talking a bit, and we seen a post in the Splatoon 2 Plaza. Well, we looked up the person's username, and they were on Twitter, and, you could see their posts. I would feel kind of awkward just commenting to this person out of the blue. It's kind of more like you're going into their personal space. More so than on Miiverse, where if you just said something like, we play together, do you want to play again?
Yeah, it's exactly. There's nothing. Because you're
it puts you into stalker territory.
And especially if you use your real name or photo, which we don't, but.
Right.
Yeah, it's totally, it's like if you trying to come up with a good analogy, like something that would end up being a creepy date, but yeah, basically when you're already in that same frame of reference, somehow it's like, like if people would message me on Miiverse, I'd be no way, like, who the hell is this? Because it's just, yeah, sure, I'll play a game with you, whatever.
Somebody on Miiverse.
So it's
it's a lot more friendly.
The new one just is very impersonal, and the friend capabilities are pretty limited on the Switch.
Yeah, you can add somebody as a friend relatively easily, but you have no way to really communicate with them, I guess, unless you get Splatnet, maybe.
Yeah, and that's the closest you got, but even then, it's like you have to open that.
Is there a text function on that Splatnet?
No.
So you basically got to go right from, hey, anonymous guy, I just added to let's voice chat.
Yeah, and I have been invited one time by a random to voice chat, and it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, Miiverse was a nice little safe space, I guess, to meet and talk to people, and hey, that's a cool drawing, and you're into this, I'm into this. It was there's probably forums out there that work just as well. I think the drawing thing made it kind of unique more than anything, which, as we've seen, people on Splatoon 2 have found ways to get their drawings into the world still. But there's a lot of art and stuff that's going to be going away.
And we don't mean scribbles, we mean art.
Yeah, there's some pretty photorealistic stuff that people put up.
Yeah, people, I mean, and again, it's impressed me what people have been able to pull off on the Switch.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do a Nintendo stylus made just for the Switch.
I would buy it.
For $100, like the Apple Pencil.
It's almost puzzling that they even integrated that into Splatoon 2. Like, I know it was such a big thing, but for the Switch, it doesn't seem like a sure thing, but people have sure taken it and run with it.
I'm pretty sure people are curating stuff, though, on the backside. because I mean, well, although I did see some, anti-Semitic something or other on one of my walls in my plaza, but it, like, somebody posted, like, Max posted something on Twitter about that was like Tom's tips for playing Turf War or whatever, and I got the same one in my plaza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
I think that was T actually that had
Oh,
posted
what
that.
did she? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was.
Max is still switchless in Seattle.
No,
she
you're
doesn't live in
right. You're right.
Seattle.
I forgot. But point being, it was like, if we're both seeing the same one, that's either a pretty big coincidence or like everybody's getting that one.
Well, you have the option to either like something or report it. So I'm guessing that whenever it
If
gets
you
to a
like
certain
it,
number of likes, it
it
probably
pops. Yeah,
becomes.
it goes into greater circulation. Yeah.
and if you view it on Twitter, it will put it in your plaza. I've found.
Yeah, I did. I did have a post I did last week that just said Super NES Classic ? F Nintendo with an exclamation point. I guess it did not Swiffer the nation as I hoped it would. But I kind of wanted to see if it would get reported or anything, and no ill will has come to me. So I wondered about that too. Like, if somebody is putting out like horrible, ugly, racist stuff, or something, just hate speech type stuff, if they, will like brick your system, or if there's any kind of repercussions for that.
I have seen one post where someone reported my last post about something. I'd like to talk to that person. So apparently they weren't permanently banned from the system or anything. I assume it just
Yeah.
removed their post.
I since I've upgraded my internet, I've received no messages from Nintendo, which I only ever got from my horrible internet connection of pretty shady. I did get a message today they were doing some maintenance on Splatoon too, so I guess we'll see if anything comes of that.
Yeah, I believe it is currently down, or was when we started.
So I don't know. I don't know what these kids are going to do without their Miiverse. Like I said, it's a fun thing. It's
So
like I said, I don't know if I'm supposed to put my information out there and say, hey, find me on Twitter in a casual way, or in code where they won't report me for it, or I don't think there's too many people left on there that I really can't go without talking to ever again, but that I don't already talk to. But it is a sad. There's going to be a bunch of people that are going to lose connection with one another, which is kind of sad. The outer circle people.
it's true. So let me toss this question out then. If Miiverse was on Switch, would you start using it again?
Yeah, probably.
It would need.
I mean, occasionally.
Yeah, I'd use it here and there. I'd be checking people's profiles out that I played with on Splatoon or whatever. I would be browsing, like, you know what I mean? When you'd see something in your plaza, you could actually go to that person's page. Like, so if you would see really cool artwork, I'd hop out and go check out that person's profile, because usually they would have all sorts of cool stuff.
I even enjoyed going to like the Breath of the Wild on the Wii U Miiverse, just to kind of see like the experiences that people are having on the Wii U with it. Since there's not like an easy place to just rant it, because I always erase the hashtags when I'm posting on Twitter. The first thing I do on my Switch is erase all the hashtags. But I guess that would be the way to keep the Miiverse thing alive, is just keep those hashtags and search through them.
I've had a lot of random people like a post or something, and I think it's people searching hashtags.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do if you. And the thing is, that's too much effort for me. Like, I don't care that much that I want to see everybody Splatoon 2 post, but I might just check out whatever the 10 most recent things in Miiverse that were posted were.
Or scroll down the first page.
On a particular game, sorted by game, right? I mean, it's like, it's not so easy. Yeah, I guess I could search for a hashtag in Twitter, but it was nice to just, on my console, have direct access to a message board. Again, it made the console feel like you were part of a community, right? You open the thing up and there's people to talk to right there. I mean, even though it wasn't live chat or whatever, it had that same vibe as like an MMO has, where it's like part of the draw is the fact that there's people there, in the game that you want to go play with and interact with, and it's a social thing as much as it is, even when it's not. Yeah. Even when it's not your friends or anybody that is on that you necessarily want to talk to, it's just there's people there and you can interact with them, and somehow it makes it feel a hell of a lot less lonely than the Switch currently feels.
Yeah, and the original purpose of Miiverse was still fulfilled too, where it was originally just to be like, hey, I'm stuck at this point. What do I do? And people, you'll come across those, and people will be helpful and stuff. There was a guy that I'm friends with on the Wii U, and I think I've added him on my Switch now too, that I used to, early on, my Miiverse posts were in the Nintendo Punch-Out thing, and somebody saw that I was getting like really good times in Punch-Out because I'm decent at that game, and then he would be like, check this out, and like post a reply to mine with like a time that was faster than mine, and then I'd like try to beat his, and I ended up finding out that he's like a YouTuber that I would watch his like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out videos, and I was like, hey, you're one of those people.
There was many times I'd have a random comment, and then it kind of built into a small relationship there.
Yeah. I mean, you could build friendships over there and find people that are cool, and then sometimes it would work the opposite way, where you talk to somebody for a while and then just be like, I really don't want anything to do with this person. But having a profile is a nice way to easily tell like whether you want that relationship to continue.
Right.
Nice on Switch if they would have some sort of like profile thing like that, where you could just type like a little short bio or something, which I'm sure the other systems probably have, since that's the only way you're going to be able to add people anymore. It'll be sad to see it go. I wonder if Metroid will get have like its own forum, like on Miiverse, or if they're done adding new stuff to it maybe now. Because not every game got a Miiverse thing either, but most of them did.
That's a good question.
Every major release did. I'm going to bet my money's on no Metroid Miiverse. Because I think they already announced the death of it well in advance of the game coming out. So I'm going to bet no.
Well, I know that. Oh man, I'm going to have to see if I can bring it up. I think of that RPG Maker game. I saw somebody posted in Miiverse that he had basically done like a screen that pops up when you load it up, where he addresses that Miiverse is ending, and like tries to advertise some games that he has coming out, and that only one of them's probably far enough along that it'll still be released in time to have its own Miiverse page, and talks about that, which I thought was kind of interesting, that one of the developers would actually do that and address it like pretty much instantaneously. For our RPG Maker FES. Due to the end of Miiverse on 11/7/17, I hate to inform the fans of my RPG Downfall FES the following information. I had more games planned to launch, and then it goes on, and I'm like, wow, he addressed that stuff right away.
It wasn't unusual if you went into especially some of the more indie developer circles with their games, you would see people that were actually from the development company posting there.
Yeah, I had that too. Especially like if it was like on launch day. Like I don't remember if like Jules Walsham, who had done like the Mutant Muds. I think there's some other ones that day one, like when you first get it in post, will like your stuff or be like, hey, I helped make this game. Thanks for playing, or little things like that.
I remember some for DLC announcements and stuff like that as well. It was neat. Again, it was a very cool little community that the Switch just has nothing like.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess those people all have Twitter pages, obviously, but yeah, there were like developers that were like, what do they call them? Like they were basically verified users. Like they
Right.
called them verified users. It's the official account of blah blah blah. Or they'd be like, "Hey, everybody, just want to let you know this is coming out." Yeah, actually, now that I'm going through, if you go to posts from verified users right now, there's an official statement from Minecraft. My Miiverse community is moving to the official Minecraft community site. There's a bunch of developers, it looks like, are jumping on this, telling you how to get a hold of them um, on other social media stuff, which technically I should report because that is a violation of the code of conduct.
That's
They're
right.
a
This guy's just
verified
giving
user.
his.
They can do no wrong.
Oh,
man.
I know. I should. Oh, the
They're
report is
gods.
grayed out. That's too bad. He gave his Twitter and his website. Fail. I guess it won't let me report him. That's too bad. But yeah, maybe they'll quit going after people. But like I said, I never thought that they really moderated too heavily. I'm pretty sure if you just report somebody, they just kind of accept it and take away the post. So the last day of Miiverse, I have an idea everybody's going to be banned.
Now, I know at the end of the FAQ that you were talking about earlier, Nintendo has officially said they have no intention of making another social media type platform. Do you think that we might possibly see something akin to Miiverse with the new online system coming out next year?
No.
I kind of don't think so. Like I don't think they want anything to do with it.
They don't want to. Yeah, I think that their argument that they want to leave it to other social media platforms is legitimate. They're not like, why reinvent the wheel? Why host your whole own, miniature Twitter when you can just do it on Twitter? And I get the logic on that. They looked at me versus a big resource drain and said, no, let's not do this. But then they took it a step too far with the voice chat and all this other BS.
Yeah. I wish if they are going to go this route that they would make social media integration more integrated into the Switch. Add some Twitch support, things like that.
Add some sort of direct communication capability. Posting. I mean, I can post stuff to Twitter from my Switch. I cannot in any way browse Twitter on my Switch. At least not without accessing the secret browser.
Yeah, which is always funny too, that when you post on there, it says, access this from a PC or smart device to see your post.
Yeah.
So like, let's imagine you are so far behind the times that you do not have a PC or a smart device. You just have to hope that it really is going where you're saying it's going. And take their word for it. But man, I don't know. I'm looking through right now, just kind of browsing around Miiverse, and there's so much cool drawings and awesome little things that are just going to be going away, and it is sad to see it all go. But I guess, like I said, I haven't really used it a whole lot lately, anyway. But the anonymous nature of it makes it fun. That you can just
anonymous, but not too anonymous.
Yeah,
I mean, at least from the perspective of your player is your player from game to game. I mean, you can change your name, I guess, if you want, and you're me, I guess, if you want. So you could be anonymous.
And some of our friends have changed their name and their me countless times. One specific one that we used to play, Splatoon. Yeah,
it's changed genders and everything. So
yeah, but it's Twitter feels a lot more personal to me, even though I keep mine fairly anonymous still. It feels like it just crosses a line that Miiverse didn't. Like I said, Miiverse was a very safe place to just kind of interact with people, and there was cool people that I met on there that I probably wouldn't have met, any other place. I guess the one thing that Miiverse really did was consolidated the entire fan base, whereas you might have some people that go on Game Facts and some people that go on Nintendo Life or all the other different forums, but this was one forum that all those people were sharing at the same time.
And a reasonably troll-free forum at that.
That's questionable.
Well,
There's a lot of Shrek love out there.
I think that's kind of hitting on why it was such an easy connection, because you already had the main question out of the way. You know, these are fairly hardcore Nintendo people that you're addressing.
Yeah.
Whereas on Twitter, you don't know who they are, you know?
And there's nobody that's going to be crapping on a game that doesn't at least own the hardware.
Exactly.
It's
They're
like
at least a Nintendo fan.
And a lot of times they'll post a screenshot of the game while they're crapping on it, which doesn't really happen in forums. But it's nice to see people's, screenshots. We do live in the video age, but there's a lot of times you'll just see something where someone will post a picture and you'll be like, I wonder how they did that in the game. Or I remember when Animal Crossing came out and everybody was doing all the crazy glitching and stuff like that. And you'd be like, oh, this is possible in this game. Or if you remember in Splatoon 1 where there was the glitches where you could get outside of the Inkopolis and stuff like that. And people would post the glitches. And like, I always thought that stuff was kind of cool. Just to see things like that now you'll have to look for a video or something, whereas it's a lot easier to randomly discover these things by just flipping through Miiverse. Poor Miiverse.
Well, on these sad notes, we should probably wrap up.
Yeah, I think there's not much else we can say. It was fun while it lasted. Thanks for the memories, Miiverse.
You will be missed and remembered in our hearts.
And check us out on Twitter.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in tonight and listening to us ramble on and on and on and on about Splatoon.
Yeah.
And then actually talking about some topics. But
that's true.
If you miss Miiverse like we do, or if you love Splatoon like we do, be sure and send us some comments below. You can hit us up on Twitter at NOA_podcast. And of course, you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes. So until next week, we'll see you guys later.
Good night.
Have a good one.